Alright, everybody, we are on to episode 3 of Do You Even Laugh? And my next guest today, you know him from the Last Sicilian. He's been doing it for 3 years. He went off to off-Broadway with it, 2 weeks in January. And let's see, he's also doing it again this year on March 9th at Savini's in Woonsocket. He's also working on a screenplay version of The Last Sicilian, so we could see this on TV in a movie theater sometime. He's also writing a TV pilot. You're going to be filming it this year. And he's also got a new play in March called Washed Up Actors. And I'm happy to see this guy because we have a long history, and actually location-wise is perfect because we got a lot to talk about. Nick Albanese, welcome to the podcast.
How you doing, man?
All right, so we got to get a few things out of the way.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect. Well, just for a little background, what's happening right now? We're filming this currently in my parents' house.
Recording.
Yeah, we're recording it. Sorry, coming from video. We're filming it without video. Yeah, it's like jazz. It's all about the things you don't see. Anyway, we're doing it in my parents' house in Walpole.
Yeah.
And it's weird because a few hundred feet from this location is where I first met you about 6 years ago. Because you were doing
6 years already? Oh.
Yeah, can you believe that shit?
Wow.
6 years. Or maybe it was 5. Maybe, I think it was 6. So I met you because you were doing a party at one of my neighbor's houses. Mm-hmm. My dad was there. He's like, oh, there's a comedian here. You should come over and check it out.
And they found me through Gig Masters, where I used to be on.
Gig Masters?
That's a site I used to get, gigs as a comic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my dad's like, oh, you should come over and check this guy out. I'm like, yeah, okay. And you went over there. You did like a 45-minute set.
Was it that long? I don't know.
45 an hour. And then you and I started talking.
Yeah.
And then...
your dad, before, you didn't know this, beforehand, you were here at the house. He was at the party. He's like, oh, my son is interested in stand-up.
Yes.
And I said, oh, well, go get him. Bring him over if you haven't. He's like, oh, you don't mind? I was like, no, it's a party, right?
Yeah.
And you came over and you were there for the whole set. And then we talked about it afterwards. And
yep.
And at the time, I was running a little room down in North Providence.
At the Sunnyside. Yeah, I think it was a week later. No, you invited me to come do like a guest spot, like a 5-minute guest spot, like a week later. Mm-hmm. It came down, I was all excited and nervous as hell, by the way, because brand new at that point. I literally had no idea what I was doing.
Was that and that was your first time?
First actual booked show.
All right. Did you do a couple of open mics and stuff before?
Oh yeah, I did a bunch of open mics leading up to that, but I didn't know how does one actually get booked.
Yeah, yeah.
And this wasn't through some club or whatever. This is just a little independent show down in North Providence, and that was my first one. And
it's all my fault, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah,
I started all this.
You started this little butterfly effect of chaos, and now here we are.
Here we are at your parents' house.
Yeah.
Nice house. And your mom gave me coffee. And she made brownies.
Yeah,
it's like typical Italian mom.
I know.
You got to give them food when they come over.
I don't know how or why it is. It's just we are aggressively hospitable people.
No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. You are going to eat this food.
I feel like I'm at home. So welcome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and not everything here is covered in plastic.
No.
Those
are the old timers.
But it's weird how, did you think, you had this effect on me? One little thing just created this little, just shockwave.
Yeah.
It started small, then it just kind of snowballed even bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it weird to think I had this sort of effect on one person?
It's not weird. I think it's happy because it's happened to me in my life. People have given me shots and I've grown from it and kept going. And I truly believe that what we do in any field you're in, even if you're a hospital and a young guy is there and he's studying to be a doctor or a law firm, any business, but especially show business, you give them a shot. You just give them a shot. And I'm at that point, I was at no level I could say I was a big shot in the business or something. And I'm still not. But if you can help somebody, help them. And I think, because you never know where that person's going to end up going.
Very true. Now, be honest at this point. When you first saw me do my first ever 5 minutes, what did you think?
Let me think back. Well, I said I saw something was there, and I knew, and I definitely knew it had to grow. But I can sense that you really wanted it, and I think that's the most important thing. If somebody really wants it, and if it's in them, it'll come out. But some people I've seen over the years, they'll keep going, and I'm not gonna name names, and thank God, one guy I'm thinking of, he doesn't even do it anymore. But it took him a long time to realize he wasn't funny.
Oh,
and you know those guys I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, it's like
he thinks everybody knows he's funny except everybody knows he's not funny except him, and it's like a drug addict. You have to admit to yourself, finally, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, then you quit and maybe try something else.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people come and go, but usually once the people, it's like, oh, dude, you are not funny.
Yeah.
And
then some people, they'll change something. They'll get help from somebody in writing a style, and they change their writing style, and then boom, they'll blossom.
Yeah.
But there's some people they're not meant for it. I think you have to be born with something in you. To do this.
Yeah, it's like some people's like confidence is disproportional to the amount of actual, talent or ability they have to actually perform this. Because, sometimes when I see that people are overly confident to make up for their lack of talent. Which is why we have reality stars now.
Yeah.
But you, I remember you did you were headlining that night, and it was the first time I saw you do the Pussy Book.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
And that was, I think, one of my favorite bits of yours that you did.
Yeah.
And now.
We'll let them know it's a children's.
Oh
book.
yeah, we need a little
it's
backstory.
Called Owl and the Pussycat, and it was written. It was like an English or Australian kind of book, and they would say pussy for pussycat. And it was just a children's book, and the way they wrote it and the way I read it, it was like five lines in the whole book, and it was just funny. It was just, I guess you have to be there to hear it. That was a great bit.
And now you didn't always first start off in the stand-up world. You actually were an actor.
Yeah. I started. I was a theater major in college, and I finished in 1995. And then I moved to California for a little while, and then came back. I was doing a lot of theater. I started getting involved with RISD, doing student films, and that blew me away. It was cool. The first actual movie I was ever in as an extra was called Awake in Providence, like a funeral wake, and that I love just being on set and seeing how they make a movie. It just blew me away. I loved it. So I started working with RISD a lot and doing acting in short films with them and student films. And just took off from there. Started doing my own little projects, but I always wanted to do stand up. Like, it was always in me as a kid to do stand up, and just like a show I actually have premiering this Thursday. It's called Stages, Movie Sets, and Other Stories. It's my new one, man.
Oh,
and it's I talk all about this. Like, as a kid wanting to be an entertainer, and end up getting a job as a limo driver, and I met a lot of people. And George Carlin was one of those guys.
Yeah, I think I remember this story. You actually, this is before Uber, but you said you were a limo driver, and you were driving around Carlin.
Yeah, and I just picked him up from the private airport. Him, his manager, who was his best friend since high school. His opening act was Dennis Blair. And he actually co-wrote Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield. And he did a lot of music comedy, and he was the opening act for like 15 years for George Carlin. And I think it was Dennis's girlfriend also. So I picked them all up, and I dropped all of them off at the P-Pack, and then George had a room at the Westin where he wanted to freshen up, and I waited there, and then he come down after like a half hour, and I was bringing him back to the P-Pack, and that movie Jersey Girl just came out, and he played Ben Affleck's dad. And I said, hey, I just saw that movie, last week, and you did a really good job, because it was a dramatic role. I said, you did a really great acting job. He's like, hey, man, thanks a lot. And right from there, he just opened up, and we just started talking. And then I parked the car in the back, and I'm sitting in there, and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm waiting with the car. He's like, no. He's like, forget that, come in. And this is like 6 hours before the show even starts. And I hung backstage in the green room with him, his manager, for like hours, and we just talked about music and movies and his life and my life, and it was like unbelievable, man. And then I went and picked up dinner for them. I had dinner with them from Hemingway's, his big seafood place in Providence, And I said, how do George, I always wanted to do stand-up. How do I start? And he's like, just write 5 minutes of material and hit every open mic night you can, even if it's not a comedy one. Just do it, because then you'll know if you're good or if you suck. Those are his words. And I did it. I just took that advice that summer, and I ran with it. And there's a club, I think it was, I don't know when it closed. It only open for 2 years at the Province Place Mall. I don't know if you ever heard of that club. It was called Stitches.
Yes, I have heard.
Two doctors opened it, and it was only open for a couple of years. And I went to my first open mic was there, and John Parada, the Rhode Island legend, was running.
Shout out to John.
Yeah, John, and he saw me, and I had a great 5-minute set, and then he booked me to start hosting shows, and that's where it grew from there.
Wow. Yeah, it's weird how like suddenly. I mean, were you like starstruck? Like with George in your backseat.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, man. It's just to me. I look at all these people. I know a lot of people get starstruck, and I'm sure like every comedian that's hearing this story, and I was like, oh my god, like you'd be flipping out. But I think you get more if you treat them just like we're talking right now.
Yeah,
like you just a friend of yours, and you've known them for a while, and you treat them like a human. They love that, and they open up and they start talking to you. If you're like a stalker, forget it. They're gonna like send another driver. This guy is like too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be very put offish because, I mean, like they are. I mean, yeah, they might be famous, but they're also just regular people. Yeah. I mean, at their core, they are. I mean, there's one thing when we see them on TV and in movies, like they're just this one-dimensional person. Mm-hmm. But when the cameras aren't rolling and shit's not in their face and they just like have a little private time, they can actually just be themselves. Mm-hmm. And if you just treat them like they're just another person, then I feel like that would just put them at ease. They're not like I'm not being fanboyed all over the place, because I work in a radio station. I see famous people come through every now and then, so I try not to be like, oh my god. I mean, it's happened maybe once, but I kept it in. But
you play it cool, just act normal, and they like that.
Because like when everything stops recording and they just want to relax and be themselves. So I feel like that was a good way for you to while you were able to connect.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you just treat him like a regular guy, he's gonna appreciate that.
And I mean, I have that in me. I'm pretty easygoing, and I can start a conversation probably pretty much with anybody. Mm-hmm. And I have that working for me, and it worked, and it was just so cool. It was so cool. And watching him from the wing of the state, the P-PAC, and just watching him do what he was doing, I was like, man, I want to do that. I want to do that so bad. And that was it. And he's known his manager so long. Like 2 minutes before he was done, his manager taps me on the shoulder, goes, go start the car. He's done in 2 minutes. And I went out. I started the car. 30 seconds later, they're all jumping in like the Beatles.
Oh, really?
Yep. And before one person even got up from the seats in P-PAC, we were like halfway at the airport already.
Wow.
That was that fast. It was
like they've got like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, he had this little private plane waiting for him to bring him back to New York.
Wow. And
he gave me a signed autograph picture that night. Oh, thanks, Nick. He's just a super cool guy from New York City, just a regular guy.
So, like, when you were backstage talking to him, just like, just back and forth, regular, was there like a little part of your brain like, oh my God?
Obviously. I said, I can't believe it. I said, I can't wait to tell people I'm sitting here with George Carlin. But it's all, you got to keep it in, You just got to play cool.
Yeah, you have to play it cool. You can't be like, because there'd be some like, comedy fanboys like you'd need a mop to clean up the mess left behind.
Yeah.
But no, that's. I remember you telling me that like a long time ago, and I just remember it's like, oh man, I just met, you met George Carlin.
And that was like 2000. What was it? 2004 or 5 maybe? Yeah, around there.
Yeah. Although this is like not too. He died.
He died a couple of years after.
Yeah, a few years after that. Yeah. So
I think it was on like maybe 07, 08 when he passed away.
Yeah.
And I remember like being bummed out because I was like, I knew he came to the area once or twice a year. I said, how cool would it be to run into him again? And here I am, a feature act or even at one point a headliner act.
Yeah.
And like, dude, you started this,
Yeah. Yeah, just some sort of chain reaction. One little.
It would have been so cool.
Like
I got to tell his daughter. His daughter's
really?
on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I started talking. I messaged her through that. and told her my whole George Carlin story, and she's like, "Thank you so much for telling me that. That was so sweet of you to tell me that story," and she really appreciated it because she started a one-woman show. It was all her life about growing up with her father.
Yeah,
as George Carlin as her father.
Yeah. Now have you ever like crossed paths with obviously he's like Mount Rushmore as far as comedy goes, but have you ever crossed paths with like anybody else? Maybe not that echelon, but
between working on movie sets and then doing limo and that's what my one man show I'm doing. It's all about that. A lot of these stories. Got to meet Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman.
Wow.
I mean, they're up there. They're in the Rushmore because he just as a producer alone, DeVito's made his Jersey Films made some incredible movies. I'm saying Emeril Lagasse, and I got to hang out with who else? Ed Burns is a super cool guy. Katherine Heigl, and I met them at the same time because they were doing 27 Dresses.
You were
rom-com film.
Weren't you in that too?
Yeah, I ended up being an extra in that. But it's funny. I drove Katherine Heigl and the director of the movie, the cinematographer. I drove them all, and then a week later, there I am on set, and they're all looking at me, going like, "We know you."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I drove you."
Were you ever one of those people who always like conveniently leaves like a headshot in the back seat?
No. That never works. That doesn't work, people. Don't do it. Yeah.
It's like, well, how'd that get back there?
Yeah. No, I just, you just got to keep networking and try to get, jobs. And if that's what you want to do, you're going to find jobs working on sets. And eventually, I mean, I believe if you keep doing it, eventually something's going to happen for you.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be the grand scale that you want, but I mean,
you got to be content with whatever happens.
Believe me, I'm not at any height that I can really brag about, but I mean, I'm a lot further than I was 10 years ago.
Of course.
And pretty much close. I'm pretty close to doing it for a living, not quite. But I love it. I love it. I live and breathe it, and it's just it's part of me. It's my DNA, and I couldn't think of anything else I could be doing.
Absolutely. Now since we touched down upon your one-man show, The Last Sicilian, so let's talk about that. Now, I saw you do this maybe 2 years ago. It might have been, maybe 2 or 3. And
we went out to dinner after.
Yeah, it was like you, me, your wife, and our friend Mike Cronin.
Mike Cronin came,
who is fucking hilarious.
Shout out to Mike
you
Cronin.
You would never believe this guy is extra staunch Catholic. He is extra crispy Christian.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw him do crowd work, he was just a monster.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, where is this coming from?
Yeah, he does really good crowd work. He's really good with. He's a people person. He loves people.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was just like, I'm watching like, where is any of this coming? He just kept rattling off one after another, after another. And
he's been a great help to me because he's basically my stage manager for The Last Sicilian.
Right.
And those who haven't seen the show, it's a slideshow that goes on along as I act. It shows pictures as the stories. I'm telling the stories, and Mike's my guy. He just keeps up with me and keeps the slideshow going.
And The Last Sicilian it's a one-man show about your life.
Yeah, my family's history.
About your family's history.
From Sicily to America, and I played all the characters, and I played my mom, my dad, myself as a kid. And it just tells me about growing up on the north end of Providence, not Boston, north end of Providence, above my father's bakery. And my life as a child in this neighborhood in the 80s, where almost everybody had a vowel at the end of the name. Everybody knew everybody. It's kind of like a Bronx Tale, but a little lighter,
Sure,
yeah. I always tell people my story is like Bronx Tale meets Moonstruck.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gets run over by a train in your play.
No, people get beat up by my uncle and my dad a lot. But it's I make it comical, and I'm working on a screenplay version of it as we speak.
Yeah. That's exciting, and like I like the fact that you basically take on the roles of all your ancestors, leading all the way up to you.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever thought of playing one of your kids in the future?
What do you mean?
I mean, because remember, I'm not going to spoil or anything, but you play multiple versions of like your ancestors
Yeah, yeah.
leading up to you.
Yeah, and then it's me and my kid at the end.
Yeah.
If you remember, I have a conversation with my son
Yeah.
at the end. Yeah. I mean, this new one I'm doing this week, it's kind of a little bit of continuation. Has some untold stories of my childhood, but it goes right into the career thing.
Yeah.
But in the screenplay, it's not gonna be the way the play is, because the play I go through a lot of time from history, back 100 years ago until now, but the screenplay is gonna be just the and maybe a year of the time of my life when I was a kid in the 1980s, just for a 1 year period of living above my dad's bakery. That's pretty much the screenplay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all the family stories.
Yeah, with the play, you're able to put in whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas if you gotta write for film and television, then you really have to you have to cram it in. You have to story structure. You have to get from A to B within a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and you gotta have that little conflict.
Yeah,
it's always the intro. I call it's the pyramid, the intro, the build and then the climax of the story and the resolve of the story.
Yeah,
at the end.
Yeah. Those are anybody who's ever taken like the screenwriting class. I think there's this little graph about story structure where it's like a slow build of this is how things are now, and then the inciting incident, which is where everything changes.
Yeah.
And then it's just all about them dealing with this problem and blah, 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 for maybe an hour until we get to the resolution where everything dives down.
Yeah.
So.
And the play, there's so much in it that it's impossible.
Yes.
It would be like a 3-hour movie. I'm going to do the whole history, because it's a lot of the beginning is his history. It's like history of Sicily, how it formed, and how the people came over, and everybody just thinks they came to New York, but a lot of them went to New Orleans, and in the earlier version of my show, I talked about even ones that settled in California. So they went everywhere. So so I kind of leave all that out. I just focus with the family, my own family's history in the 1980s above the bakery.
And you probably had to do a lot of research.
Oh yeah.
Based off the stuff you knew from beforehand, from with your parents and what your grandparents
what I wrote was all my stuff that I knew and all the stories my parents were telling me over the years, and it just didn't seem long enough as a one-man show. And then all of a sudden, I flipped through in PBS, and they're doing a documentary about Italians coming to America.
Yeah.
And then they hit one section about Sicilians. I was like, oh. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. And then I just started taking notes as I was watching it. And then certain things I heard, then I would start, hit Google and start researching more and more and more.
Now, did you have to dig through old archives and?
No, I didn't go that deep.
Okay.
I just wanted the basic info, and a lot of stuff. People too, even old timers, Italians would come and wow, I didn't know that part of the history. Oh, really? Sicilians that many millions settled in New Orleans? It's yeah, and people don't know that.
Well, while you were doing your research, did you ever come across something about your ancestors whoa? Was there something surprised you? I did not know that.
No, not really.
No. Because usually people from our background assume that somebody has somebody in the mob.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
Some of us just live boring lives.
Yeah,
Sorry to disappoint everybody, but not everybody knows somebody in the mob.
Yeah.
And that's not a defense mechanism either. We really don't know.
Yeah. We plead the fifth.
Yeah, we plead the fifth. We're just gonna put that under the rug and throw it in the trash. Now you have the one-man show, but now you're also working on another play called what was it, the one Everybody Needs Therapy?
I did that last year.
Yeah?
Last year I did Everybody Needs Therapy and Last Days of Rock and Rob, which was based on the true story of a record shop closing in Greenwich Village. And then I did Many Sides to the Reaper, which was a true story, mafia story, 1980s Brooklyn, New York, about a guy known as the Reaper. And I showed his life with the mob crew, and I showed his life at home with his family, how two different guys he was.
Was he really a hitman? Or?
Yeah, he was basically a hitman. He worked for the Colombo family.
Oh.
And it was cool. There was me and 9 other actors in that show. That we had a blast doing that show. And that was last year. This year, I'm doing Last Sicilian the March 9th, like you said, at this restaurant Savini's. It's the first time I'm doing it as a dinner show.
Oh,
So
really?
people can come have a nice Italian dinner, and then I'm doing the Last Sicilian. It's March 9th in Woonsocket.
Oh, so it'll have like the right scent and ambiance, perfect for it.
And I heard the food is very good there. I haven't been there yet. I'm gonna try to get there before the show, and then the end of March, the week after that, for 2 weekends I'm doing washed up actors.
Yes.
And that's me with a cast of like say maybe 5 more of us, and Beth Angeloni, she's directing it, and it's about these guys that are pretty much washed up actors. They can't get gigs, or they're bad actors, and no one ever hires them. So they got to eat, they got bills to pay. So they decide to do a jewelry heist, and that's all I'm going to tell you. It gets really funny. It gets really funny from there.
It's like it's like a Bowfinger version of Ocean's 11.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of trying to make a movie, they're just like, forget it. Forget this business. We're just going to steal diamonds.
Give me the money. Line. That's fine. No, that I'd see.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
That's good. It's fun. And one of the actors in it is Tony Lepore. He's the dancing cop. I don't know if you know
What?
The Providence dancing cop.
No way.
Yeah, he was in my show last year. Everybody Needs Therapy. The audience loved him. Because Everybody Needs Therapy we were all mental patients in a hospital. We all did group therapy together. It was hilarious. And now I have him back, and he's playing one of the washed up actors.
Do you think? No. Those of you who don't know, this is a cop in Providence. Well, I don't think he's a cop anymore. I think.
No, he retired years ago, but he would come back and do the traffic.
Right.
And
dance.
He
became a little famous. He was just dancing as he was directing traffic.
At one point, he was when Rosie O'Donnell had her show. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That was years ago. He was on there. He was on all the news stations always had him on, like the CNN and Fox, and he was doing pretty good. And he does a lot of parades.
Oh yeah.
He does a lot of parades still. He does a lot of safety talks for kids at schools. So and he's retiring this year actually from that. He's going to be moving after this year. He's going down to Florida.
To retire down in Florida?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been doing. If you see him, he's still got the moves, man. He goes down and he does these things I can't even do. And he's like great. He's great shape for his age. He runs like 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
I wish I had half his strength.
And he's just been bit by the acting bug.
Yeah. He just wanted to be an entertainer since he was a kid.
And that obviously has shown me if he's enjoying that much fun just directing traffic.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really sound like the most exciting job for a cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, if this is gonna be.
Well, that's what I mean. It was a mundane kind of thing, and he just started adding in little dance moves here and there, and people just started gathering around and watching him every day. They would take their lunch break to watch him. At first, I don't think the captain and them liked that, but they realized it was a great image for the city. And then once he retired, a year later or two, Buddy Cianci is the one that brought him back to do it every year.
Wow.
It brought him back every 2 weeks before Christmas every year. I said, come on down. And he did it. He did it for years.
Oh, that is too funny.
Yeah. And so he's in the show. He's comical. He's a great actor.
Oh, yeah?
And there's a friend of mine, Bobby Silver, and there's Erin, his girlfriend. She's in it. Plays his girlfriend in the play. Doris, she plays Hollywood agent Rose Fiennes, and Mike Capelli is a guy that we were ships in the night during college because I was coming into college to do theater and he was leaving, so we really never did anything. We kind of knew each other, and now here we are, years later.
Oh, dude! So
and I just posted something for it on like one of those theater sites on Facebook, and he applied. He was interested. I'm like, that name looks so familiar. And so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird how like years will pass, and like somebody from your distant past just emerges out of nowhere and just.
Thank you, Facebook.
Yes, one of the few positive things I'll say about social media.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Though.
Depends on the person too. Otherwise, if this person like stood me up back in high school, it's like, you again. But no, that's awesome. The fact that. Thanks to Facebook, that you're able to reconnect with somebody who, you were just maybe acquaintances at best.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, years pass, and now you're working together.
Now we're working together.
Yeah.
And it's a blast. We already did a rehearsal yesterday, And yeah, I'm looking forward to that show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And you're also working on. Well, we can't really talk too much about this. I guess you gotta be tight-lipped about this, but you're also working on something in the television or film world.
I wrote a TV pilot. And,
okay.
And I can tell you that. And it's I'll give you a brief description of it. It's about a guy that owns a funeral home, and his brother is a loan shark. And he's the guy that owns a funeral home. Very, by the book, business guy. He runs his business, wants a simple life. His wife passed away. He has one daughter. And then all of a sudden, after years of not being around, his brother comes back to town who's a loan shark. And kind of disrupts his world.
Uh-huh.
That's the basic plot. But there's other minor characters that have their own things going on. And, I'm planning to film it this year. I can tell you this, on April 27th. What's the last Saturday in April? Is it 27th? Let me see.
It might be. Yeah. Check that.
Yeah, April 27th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Mike Cronin, his church, is letting me use their sanctuary to do this fundraiser
as the venue
for the TV pilot.
Oh,
It's going to be Mike's going to be doing some stand up. I might come out of retirement. I might do a set because I haven't done stand up. It's been years since I got back into the acting and writing. I haven't done any stand up, so I might come out of retirement and do a 10-minute set. We have Brian Vincent. I don't know if you know Brian Vincent.
Yes. I love Brian.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's going to be doing a set. And then two friends of mine, Mike and Chantel, they're a couple, and they were both in my Reaper play. They do a lot of Broadway stuff, and they're going to sing, too, after the comedy show. There's going to be music.
Very nice.
And then we'll do the auction. We're going to have all different items, gift certificates from different places and different items. We're all in the beginning of that now. We're gathering everything up. Now, I'm hoping to raise the money for this because, you want to make a pilot, you need money.
Oh, of course.
And it's going to be it's a SAG project. So all the actors I'm going to have are all union actors. I'm a union actor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be all union actors and we're going to put this thing together. I'm hoping maybe by the end of the summer we can start filming it.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
And then once it's done, we're going to, try to pitch it to networks and streaming services, which are big right now. I mean, Hulu and Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah,
they're all looking.
Yeah,
they're all looking for new stuff.
And they all love and everybody loves like the original content that, they're exclusive to streaming services. Because a lot of stuff we see like all the promos for all those sitcoms that show up on ABC and CBS. It's like getting a wedding invitation. It's like I don't think this is gonna last.
Yeah, and I can say I have one actor who's been in a few things who's well known. He's gonna be attached to this pilot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I can't say it yet because it's not like totally official, but he read the script, he liked it, and he wants to do it. And there's another actor, I'm hoping the same thing. They're both, they've been around. They've worked in a lot of shows. So I can't say anything who it is, but one day, hopefully soon, I'll be able to make the announcement.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, how long was this idea like swimming in your head before you started?
For about a year, at least a year or so.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had the idea, the premise of it for a long time, and then I just said, you know what, I got to do this, and I just started writing it out, and as I started writing, more ideas came, and I was like, oh, I could add this to it and that to it, because it's a drama, but it's some comedy in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's like 6 Feet Under was a big funeral home not sitcom but series. And they got rid of, I don't know if you ever saw the show, 6 Feet Under.
I never saw it, but I've heard. But
yeah, they really...
It's like a dysfunctional funeral home.
Yeah, they really showed like the bodies and stuff, and they really got gory into it. And it's been done already. My show, the backdrop is the funeral home, but it's not about the funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
It's about these characters. So I'm not going to really go into showing a lot of like dead bodies and all that stuff, but it's what they do. It's his living, but it's mostly about these characters.
I do. No, that sounds really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, also, I mean, it is exciting because it's like something that was just in your head one day.
Yeah.
And fast forward a year later, suddenly I'm going to start filming it, and we're going to pitch it to networks, and this could be a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I can't wait to do it. And I kind of, by doing that, and then I have like this other project I can't really say yet because I'm not officially on it. Mm-hmm. And so it's a writing gig. With that, hopefully it happens. And with the pilot, I kind of put those up front first. Because if something happens with those, I know I have a better shot with my Last Sicilian script.
Oh, yeah.
To get it produced.
Hell yeah.
So you have to plan these things out. I mean, my wife, it drives her crazy because I'm always constantly. She can't even keep up with me because I'm always got some idea
another project going
yeah.
on. And I just realized something, that we kind of dispelled a stereotype with Italian people.
Yeah.
Is we're not very tight-lipped.
Yeah, yeah.
You just let open you didn't let open the floodgates, but you gave me more than I was expecting, which I think is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I did it on purpose. I didn't want to. I didn't want to like.
I thought you could be like, oh, I'm good. Well, there's this guy who does this thing, and stuff happens with this guy who does stuff.
And this is the first time this is the first podcast I'm on, and this is the first time I'm speaking of what my pilot is. I haven't told really anybody yet. So.
Oh, and I gotta say, like, it's been a while since I last saw you, and you look great, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean,
you like the beard I grew in?
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely adds
not as long
to
as
it.
yours.
No, this took a couple of years. No, I woke up like this. No, I woke up looking like a Brillo pad.
You shaved yesterday, and I'll look at you.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I have the follicle genes of a French woman. But. And we are
no offense to French women.
Nah. I mean, if anything, that's a compliment. We are very hairy people.
Yeah.
I mean, we are human Brillo pads. Anyway.
Yeah, I kind of grew this for one of the play Rock and Rob last year. I played the landlord of a building the record shop was in. Mm-hmm. And I grew and I liked it, so I kind of left it.
You just kind of kept it around?
And I did headshots with it, and it worked because I got a couple of gigs, I think, because I had the beard. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually going to a callback tomorrow.
Oh.
For an Italian chef, a guy right from Italy, so it's buongiorno, buonasera, and I gotta do the accent and everything, and he's a chef who cooks people their last meals on death row.
Oh,
and it's a kid from Emerson's doing it.
Oh,
and I sent in my video, and he liked it a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm going in for the callback, and hopefully I'm gonna be acting with the people that the other actors he's considering. I don't know if there's going to be other dudes there going to playing my role, and he has to pick. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Now, do you sometimes feel like I'm being like typecast, or is the mob guy?
No. I would play the mob guy forever, man. As long as they're paying me and I'm in the business, I don't. It's.
Yeah, I mean,
I know a lot of people they don't want to be typecast, but that's the business. That if you have that look. And, and you're good at that. That's what they're going to see a lot as. But, it's just, but once in a while you get lucky and you can play something different.
Yeah. And
you can show a range. Because a lot of those guys do have range, but everybody knows them for those roles, it's hard to get out of that. And when they say, okay, well, they show you the check. Like, oh, yeah, I'll do it again.
Like I will always. I mean, for that company, oh yeah, I mean, if that were me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll sign on for the All Lives Matter domestic terrorist look. Yeah, I'm all over that.
And that's the cool thing about having my theater group, where I get to write these characters where I'm playing totally different guys, and one of when we did therapy, I was just supposed to play Frank, the guy with anger issues, and there was one scene with the therapist when she was home with her husband, and the one actor dropped out, was playing that part.
Oh.
And he was like, kind of like, he played it great. He was like this waspy kind of guy, and I'm not. And I could not play it the way he did. I couldn't play it the way he did. So I'm like, maybe I should just do an immigrant character. And I don't know, I mean, it's not politically correct now to play immigrants, I guess. But I started doing all these different types because I'm good at voices, and I said because that's one scene my other character wasn't in, so I can switch costumes and play that part.
Oh, okay.
And so during rehearsal, I just started all these accents, and I got to the Indian guy, and the whole cast, we started laughing for about 5 minutes straight. It was so funny, and the guy's name was Steve Nolan, and so I played him as an Indian, and I left the name. That made it funnier. You know, it's comedy. You know, why we gotta be PC with comedy? When comedy's politically correct, it's not funny anymore. That's my personal view.
Yeah, it gets a little watered down.
Yeah, and the audience loved it. I came out as that guy, and it was great. It was just great, and it was cool because then they see me come back in the second act as my other character again. So it was kind of cool to see me do the change. You know.
Now, were you playing like somebody from a call center?
Yeah, just like those guys. And I said, it'd be cool just to leave the name because you call those call centers and they're like, hello, this is Steve Smith, can I help you? And they have like an American name. So it's like, all right.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Yeah. Is that your real name? But it was fun. It was fun doing that. And,
I can only imagine how many like palms are getting sweaty just leading up to waiting for you to do that accent.
And then I'm trying to think. Just all like the landlord I played, he was just a regular guy. So it was cool when I have that control where I'm writing the play. It's my group. I'm producing the show, and I get to play these characters. It's kind of like it's an acting class just for me to learn how to play different characters.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, and plus you have like complete creative control over like what your character does and what they say, and you're surrounded by probably other like-minded, people who also want to like grow as actors.
And I'm telling you, the people I've been working with are great. But then I did the Reaper where I played the Italian mob guy, and go figure, that's the biggest play. We did 12 shows. And,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and people just loved the show. Because people are fascinated by that stuff, especially if it's a true story about a mob guy.
And it was based off a true story.
It was based off a guy. I changed all the names and
of course
protect the innocent.
Yeah. Like, I think those are usually the best ones to tell. It's like something is just so outrageous and ridiculous that you wouldn't be able to make it up.
Yeah.
And those are usually the best ones.
Yeah, and even the way he dies at the end, he either, that life, you end up in prison or you get killed.
Yeah.
This guy, he ended up actually, because he went for a blood transfusion. It was the 80s. They didn't test the blood. He ended up with AIDS.
Oh.
And I told the true story. And at the end, he has AIDS and he dies. And the audience is like, no way. Because I do Q&As at the end of the show. And people are like, is that really how he died? And like, yeah, that's how he died. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Because normally in that kind of life, either you are murdered or
in jail for you.
Or in jail. And that's it. There's no usually,
This guy, he died because they weren't testing it, the blood back then. And it was tainted and he got it.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
After the life this dude lived.
Yeah.
Just go out like that.
Yeah.
That's like a rare.
And people thought I made it up. I was like, no, it's true. There's all, like I said 90%, at least maybe 95% of the script was all true story.
Damn. Now, did you ever see like any of the Whitey Bulger stuff?
What's that?
Like there was a Black Mass.
Oh yeah, I it's been a while when it first came out. I can't remember it, but I know his whole story and
and
it's amazing. I can't believe he was away that long, and nobody knew where he was.
And what's even
they found him in Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's just in Santa Monica,
a little apartment.
Yeah, and he was just
with thousands and thousands of dollars in the wall.
And he just looked like just any regular old guy.
Yeah.
And what's even funnier, well, I wouldn't say funnier, but more interesting, is that even after they caught him and after they put him in jail, there's still people dying. Like they're still pulling the strings from behind
How
bars.
about himself dying in prison, getting killed? I can't even get into that right now.
Oh, that's a completely other podcast. Speaking of which, dude, thank you so much for coming in and doing this.
Thanks so much for having me. People can, if they want to follow any of my shows.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on Nick Albanese. You look me right up on Facebook. I'm always on there. And I have an actor-writer page. It's actor-writer Nick Albanese. You can like that page. Constantly posting everything that I'm doing, so...
Beautiful. You heard it, people. Look up Nick and definitely check out those plays, dude. Like I'm looking forward to seeing some of these. I really, really want to see some of these, like the washed up actors.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. It's funny.
Oh, that's gonna be good. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode of Do You Even Laugh? And we'll see you next time. Well, there you have it, everybody. Once again, that is a huge thanks to Mr. Nick Albanese. You can check him out at www.thelastsicilian.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Nick Albanese and on Instagram at The Last Sicilian. So definitely check out all the cool play stuff he's got going on. He's going to be dabbling in the movies and television. Nick's off to some good shit. And can't thank him enough for giving me a shot. Once again, thank you for listening to Do You Even Laugh? You can find this anywhere on any podcasting platform, especially iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Buzzsprout. You can find out more about me. Go to TonyTellJoke.com. There you'll find more information on dates and where I'm going to be. And last but not least, thanks again for listening. See you next time.